Welcome. I'm Junkyard Rat. This is the Junkyard Rat Show live from San Francisco, California. There's people doing fentanyl outside right now, so we're under siege. We're excited. And so far, and today's guest, all the way from Seattle, is Dante Barnett. How you doing, Dante?
I'm here. I'm on time. I used to say I'm black and I'm loud. That's about it.
This is your third or your fourth time on this show?
I think this is my third. Or fourth. I was thinking about that honestly right before we came on. I was like, I'm kind of a superstar to these guys because I don't know how many times they've had guests on this many times, right? Like,
oh yeah,
like me.
I think there's only one person who's been on, maybe more. That was Stephen Ferris.
Oh,
but yeah. So yeah, I was reading you're having like car trouble, or what's up with your car?
I think my car's dead. I bought a Mini Cooper last January. They're fun to drive. They're a pain in the ass to maintain. I think my engine block is broken. If it's not, we'll get it fixed. Even if it is the engine block, we're gonna get it fixed. But I just haven't. 2 years ago when we met, I was doing shows in California a ton. I had a girlfriend in California, and I live in Seattle. We broke up August of basically 2 years ago, and I haven't really been to California back since. I did. You're right. I did the Savage Henry Festival last year, so it's not like I haven't been, but I haven't booked myself a real week's worth of shows or done a road trip down there in a while. So,
hey, so
I need to come down.
Is Humboldt closer than San Francisco to where you're at, or?
Oh fuck! You don't know where Humboldt's at? Humboldt's northern California.
Okay.
So basically, once you get back northern coastal California, so once you get across, before you even get to California, you head west at like Medford or Astoria, and you go to the coast, and then you drive down the 101, and you go to Eureka. So Eureka's on the northern coast. Funny part is Eureka's usually the same temperature as Seattle.
Oh yeah.
So on average, we're either like within a couple of degrees warmer during the summer and a couple of degrees colder during the winter. But we have the same weather.
That is crazy. I've been in Seattle 3 times, and it's always been in the middle of a heat wave, and I never understood why. Because it doesn't get that hot in Seattle, does it? Like,
actually, we're hotter than you guys. That's the funny part is we get, like today, I think we're probably the same. So I was looking at Eureka's 64 right now.
yeah.
Right now in Washington, we're 69 where I live at, which isn't too far. I'm like 20 miles south. And you guys are 63, right?
Yeah, San Francisco's always like in the 60s. Yeah.
So we're kind of the similar, and we have that bay weather because we have the sound.
Yeah, but no, where I live, and it hits like 100 degrees all summer long and stuff. I don't live in the city. I can't afford the city. I don't think I've ever lived in San Francisco and stuff. I never lived out here. Hey, so did you get a brand new Mini Cooper, or you got a used, or?
I had a used 2012 Mini Cooper Clubman S.
Because my friend Steven this year just got an electric Mini Cooper. And he drove it all the way to LA from Sacramento. And he thought it was gonna be fun, but now he's thinking about getting another car because he said it's just a nightmare to travel with an electric car, you know?
Bingo. That's the part. Like, it's not that the Mini Cooper isn't fun. It's not that the Mini Cooper doesn't drive well. It's
Yeah.
just that it's a pain in the ass to have to charge every 200 to 300 miles.
See, you need a Japanese car. What? Why the hell are you messing with, with an European car? The Japanese cars last forever. You need to get like a Honda or a Toyota. Those things go forever.
I had a Nissan. I love little Japanese cars. I love little four cylinders. You
Yeah.
haven't drove a Mini Cooper though. Like a Mini Cooper keeps up with a Camaro. A Mini Cooper is fast as shit.
Yeah, they're nice
They
cars. Yeah, they're like BMWs.
Yep, they're
They,
made by BMW now. So yeah,
yeah.
they're a little BMW.
Yeah, the electric Mini Cooper is really damn nice, but like when he comes to San Francisco, he stops near where I live and then he stops in San Francisco to charge up. So it's but I told him like, wait, we should go to Vegas in the Mini Cooper and do a documentary. Anytime we gotta charge up, we bring out a camera and we start putting on a show. But he wasn't down with it. But he went to LA and he kept complaining about. I think it was the long lines of
Well,
waiting. It was a line of waiting to charge up his car. That was the
you're not
big
in
problem.
Seattle. Yeah.
In
In
Seattle,
Seattle, we have charging stations everywhere. If
uh,
you want a free charge, there's not always around. But that's the idea is you got to wait to charge. And I don't think California has as many charging stations as we do.
they do have them, but like some of them are actually free, but you don't know when it is free. Sometimes they give it to you for free, like, and it's quick too. But yeah, so you were, I mean, your car was going bad, but you ended up stuck in the mountains somewhere.
Yeah, I got stuck. So I tried to go meet my friend camping. I'd made a wrong turn and started going up the mountain trail or whatever, and got like 2 miles up the mountain, and the car died. I tried to keep walking down to find my friend, but I wasn't in the right place, so I never found him. So then I got my cut back to my car. I got it down to the bottom of the trail. I called AAA. They're like, "We're not coming tonight.
Oh,
We won't tow more than 15 miles at this time of night when we have high call volume." And so I just got a new chair from Walmart, a new big chair, and what was it? The Justice League Crisis anime Part 3 just came out on TV.
oh
So
yeah.
I took out my because I had made sandwiches and shit for the road, or brought stuff to make sandwiches. So I made me a ham and cheese sandwich, and then I made me a peanut butter and jelly. And I sat in the back, took out a blanket, popped my feet up, and had a just a relaxing time.
Did you
Funny
have
part,
weed out there? You were smoking some weed, or?
of course, come on, man.
Oh yeah.
I don't go anywhere without that. That's not a question.
That's
But
what
yeah,
I.
just
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
and since we've got the camera, I can show you. It was a real majestic sight. Look at that. That's where I was sitting at on the side of the freeway.
That is
So it's not
nice.
like that looks gorgeous, right? Like just you're not even seeing it up close. That's through the camera. So
I
it
know.
looks that good through the camera. Imagine how great it just and part of its attitude.
Oh yeah.
Even though my car blew up, I got it fixed, got it back. They supposedly fixed it, drove it home, and then the oil was mixed with the coolant, so it's still not fixed. Another week later, and it's I don't know if you'll identify with this, but I think a lot of times in life, especially if you're neurotypical, you're a little weird. You don't really ask for help. You don't want help. You don't expect help, right? And luckily, this time I've had a lot of friends help me. The day it happened, my friend, I was coming to get my spare keys because I lost my keys in between getting my new car. And she was like, "Hey, you can just borrow my car and go to work, right?"
Yeah.
So then the next day, she lives in my apartment, so I got her an apartment here. So, I kind of helped her out, obviously, because she's my neighbor now, right?
Oh yeah.
And then my other friend said I could come get the car, so I borrowed her car, went back to the Walmart, found my actual keys to my house, so I hadn't lost my keys, right? Went to work last week. or this weekend, my friend. The last weekend, I made it to work one of the nights on my own, and then my buddy came and picked me up the other because my friend's car. Oh no, that's what happened. That was this weekend. So Friday, my friend was supposed to let me borrow her car, and her car broke down. So Saturday, I actually went and fixed her car. I didn't even use her car, but my other buddy came and picked me up because he wanted to, hang out. Yesterday, I did like 7 million projects around my house. Like you can see all the art up on my walls. It kind of looks like a gallery, even though I'm just in an apartment. Well, I put up all my art. I have all my grandma, my mom's stuff, all my grandpa's stuff, my stuff, some of my kids' stuff. So I had enough art to put up. Like I've got what's one of them's real cool. It's a sketch of a Seattle ferry because we grew up working on the ferry dock selling papers. So it's a 1977 sketch of a ferry on the water, right? Another one of the ones I put up here was
Paul really likes
I
those
give.
Seattle ferries. He
What'd you
misses
say?
the. Paul really's into the Seattle ferries. He's like, where are the Seattle ferries at?
Well,
Yeah,
they go
I
from
like to get
Seattle
on
to
the ferry
Bainbridge.
for a long ride and just enjoy myself.
Oh
Well,
yeah,
no, and we have Washington State ferries run all over the Sound because you guys have the bay, we have
yeah,
the Sound. So
yeah,
the Sound comes in. It's the inlet that makes Washington look like a hook, like this.
yeah.
The other direction, right? Like that. Yeah, that's right. But it makes it look like a hook. So there's ferries that go in between the islands, go to Everett, go to Bremerton, go to Seattle, go down to Tacoma, go to Anacortes. Shit, you can even catch a ferry to Canada.
Oh yeah.
You can catch oh, I got one better. You can catch a ferry to Alaska from Seattle.
You can catch a ferry to
Not from
Alaska.
Seattle. Yep, there's a ferry to Alaska that goes out of Bellingham.
Yeah, they got ferries all over here, but I don't think I've ever taken it. Like, they go from Oakland to San Francisco and Marin, but I think I took it when I went to Alcatraz one time. Yeah, like years ago, my mom and her sister, my aunt, they drove up no, they flew to Seattle, and on July 1st, they went into Vancouver for Canada Day, and then they celebrated July 4th in Seattle. So, have you ever been up to like Canada for like July 1st or?
So no, and I honestly, you know what? I might do that next year.
Yeah,
So
what
my
did?
mom died. Let me say this piece. My mom died July 6th, right?
Oh,
2017. And I actually found out my mom was gonna die on July 3rd, right? So July 3rd, my mom was in the hospital, and I saw her, and they're like, "Hey, and then the next day they're like, we want to talk to you," and I was like, "It's July 4th. Like, I got to celebrate with my fucking kids. I don't have time to come in and kill my mom. You know what I mean? Like, can we talk about this tomorrow? Can it wait?" And they were like, "Oh, yeah." You know what I mean? Like, so July 4th doesn't have that same meaning of joy for me anymore, right? So the
are you Did you freeze?
Yeah,
Or
he froze.
interesting.
did you? Oh, did you?
Did I freeze?
Yeah, you did.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
What part did you lose?
That's sad. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm telling a sad story, and you just got hung up on one of the
It just
saddest parts. That's
froze.
fucked up.
The last thing we heard was that July 4th doesn't have the same meaning.
Oh yeah. So so when my mom died, I don't. It doesn't feel the same to me
Oh
because
yeah.
I knew I found out she was gonna die on the third, and just doesn't feel the same. So like this year, um, all I did was hang out with the people on my property. So I just moved into a new apartment. I can see my pool and I could hear the kids, and I just sat down there and hung out. So the idea of going to July 1st days in Canada
Yeah.
sounds interesting. I've been
Yeah.
there for comedy.
I don't know what
It
do
was
they do. What do they do for because they didn't get their independence, right? Canada has never really been independent of England, so. But what do they do? Do they have fireworks? I mean, what do
I
they
have no clue.
what do they do out there? Yeah,
So I don't.
like I remember when I was in high school, my parents were gonna get a divorce, and my dad told me like a couple days before Christmas, and during Christmas, my dad couldn't stop crying, right? And Christmas has never been the same for me because it was so painful just to sit there and watch my dad cry. My dad's still around, but like I don't like Christmas at all after that. It's like it was kind of it's it's crazy how things like that happen and you remember them and stuff.
So it just ain't the same.
Yeah. So what's up with your Mariners? What's going on? What's going on with your Mariners?
You can go fuck yourself.
Hey,
How the
man.
Oakland Athletics?
Last year you told me they sucked, didn't you? Weren't you like telling me they were terrible?
That was right, wasn't I? They didn't even make the playoffs. You were telling me how they were going to be good, and I was like, no.
They had
we're
a
not
big
committed.
lead, didn't they? They had how many
They
game
had a
lead?
10, I know how many games. You don't have to ask. You can remember. I'm a stats guy. I'll tell you. We had a 10-game lead on June 13th or something fucking ridiculous. In less than 6 weeks, we blew a 10-game lead. Not only that, Julio's hurt. JP's on the injured list. We made the biggest trade though so far this season.
The Angels made a trade that really upset me. You know,
You still an Angels fan? Why?
I've been an Angels fan since
You
'83.
can't talk to me about baseball right now.
Yeah,
if you're
the
an
Angels
fan.
traded Charlie Sheen.
Oh God.
The Angels traded a actually they traded a player called Carlos Estevez, right? And that's Charlie Sheen's real name. Carlos Estevez is and Charlie Sheen was a big fan. He loved baseball. He would come to the stadium. So I think they kind of got freaked out with Charlie hanging out with his namesake. So they traded him away. But he was our closer. But I'm all truthful, the Angels don't need a closer. They're not closing shit at this point. They're losing. They're going on a slide. Mike Trout hasn't even played at all. But
The minute you guys let Shohan Otani go, I knew you guys weren't serious.
we didn't lose Shohei. He bailed on us. He left. Shohei chose us. So, and then he chose the Dodgers. But he left. But thank God, the Angels. The Angels could have been in trouble over that betting thing, because that one guy was their employee. His translator worked for the Angels.
So I'm gonna tell you the truth about this. I don't give a fuck what you think. Shohan Otani was probably betting on baseball.
Hell yeah, he was. He's Asian. You go to a casino, half of the people are Asians.
I'm not gonna go that racist, but
I'm not. I'm not trying to be racist, but yeah, because
I'm not saying racist.
I mean the guy.
I'm not gonna be that.
The guy
stereotypical,
took
but
like 16 million out of his bank account. You can't take. I don't care who you are. You can't
Now
take
you're
out
getting my
16 million.
that's the only part I want to talk about.
Yeah.
You're not getting $16 million of my money.
Nah, you take 10 grand, 5 grand out of a bank account in America. They will shut your account down. They will track you down. They will talk to you. My mom worked in banks. There's no way this guy could have taken that money out without people knowing about it, And
Right.
yeah, I feel bad, but it's like, they have one player got banned this year on the Padres for betting, his whole life. I mean, and you go to all these ballparks, they're pushing betting apps on you. You watch it on TV, ESPN, they got their own betting apps. They all got these betting apps, And,
Brought to you by DraftKings.com.
yeah, and then they
Brought
turn
to you
around
by-
and they're banning people for betting on baseball, but it's like a joke in a way,
What it is, and I don't think people really understand what casinos and places like that are for.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna break a casino.
No, nobody can break a casino.
Oh, they can. Casinos are made for rich people.
I was watching a documentary on a blackjack player who was he's really good, and he got banned. That's the trouble. If you start winning in Vegas, they'll just tell you to not come back. They don't give a
Right.
fuck.
That's what I was just gonna say. So the
Yeah,
only people that could really break a casino or hurt a casino's feeling
yeah.
are rich people.
And this guy, he decided he was there's casinos all over America, so he went on a casino tour, and casinos would let other casinos in the area know this guy's in town. Watch for him. He would cut his
Yeah.
hair, change the disguise, you know. In
I know what
fact,
you're talking about. I watched that. He would put on a new face. He would change
yeah,
his ears a little bit. He'd pull his face up or down, doing makeup techniques to change how he looked.
yeah. And at the end, he realized there's nothing he could do, unless he went drastic, But and on point, he didn't even want to show ID. Like, you don't need to show ID if you win money. If you're under a certain amount, they can't ask you for your ID and stuff. He said,
Oh,
yeah.
you're full of shit.
No,
In Vegas, they could.
no,
No, go ahead.
In Vegas, yeah, but I mean, he had his lawyer. I mean, this guy was a real professional, but yeah, the minute you start winning, they'll just tell you you can't come in here anymore.
So let me tell you my best casino story. I went to, where was it? Excalibur, and was playing blackjack, right? And I took in like 50 $57 or $67 or something. And I played for like 2 or 3 hours, but I was counting cards.
Are you frozen or
No, he's acting frozen.
are you?
Oh
Acting?
no. I thought you guys were so quiet. I thought you guys froze, and everything
Oh.
minimized for a second. I was like, "Oh fuck, sorry."
No, we were listening intensely.
You guys got me.
So
Something.
I got a question about counting cards, right? What do? You count the big cards, right? How do you count cards?
So realistically, right? How do you count cards? Well, how many cards are there?
You got to get closer to the mic.
You're way lower now.
Oh, sorry. How many cards are in the deck? There's 52, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And so how many decks are you playing with? Usually 5, right? So that means there's 260 cards. Now, there's 4 card values that are 10 or higher, right? A 10, a jack, a queen, and a king, right? That means there's 16 of those cards per deck. That means there's 80 of those cards in a 5-card game. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Are we on the same page?
Uh-huh.
So far.
Now, if you want to find a true variant to make sure that you're getting like a 50-50 swing, if you add 9s and 8s to that, right? Now we're at 120 cards. If I add 7s to that, I've got a 50-50 idea on knowing what my card value is going to be. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So I know if I need a 7 or less, it's 50% chance. Just looking at the deck. Let's start there. Now, if we start counting how many times we see big cards and I start taking away big cards, but I'm not seeing them, I can have a definite idea of if I'm going to get a big hit or a small hit, and if should be doubling down or not. Now, why is the double down so big? Because when you double down, it's the only time you can guaranteed get twice your bet, and you're only getting 1 card. Same thing with a split. If you get a split and you've got aces and the deck's low, now what does that mean? If the deck's running low, if I've used a whole bunch of 10s, I don't want to split an ace. If you've been paying attention to a 5-card deck and you've used like 30 10s and shit, you know as well as I do, now there's only like a 1 in 5 chance that when you split those aces, you're going to get a 10. Or if you split 10s or whatever, right? So if you can play the probabilities and you're smart enough to understand this, and then you're also looking at what they have. They need a 7 or less. Well, there's a 60% chance right now 10s are coming out.
No.
Fuck it, yeah. Right? And then not only that, but playing that odds. Now that I've played the odds in my favor and I've decided what card I want to get, now I'm playing against my money. Do I want to not only take a hit, but if there's a 50% chance that the card's going to be more than 7, do I want to take that hit or do I want to let the dealer take that hit?
Yeah. So do you do that a lot, or do you?
So I did it one time because I don't like to gamble. The most I've ever lost gambling was like I think a 2 grand one night, and that's only because I did some bad drugs by accident, and my mom died the week before, and I was just sitting at a machine. When I'm sitting there gambling, I only lose like a couple hundred. But this night I had taken like 60, $70, and I turned it into about 2 grand.
That's pretty good.
Oh, that's more than good.
But
Um,
did you smoke weed beforehand? I mean, you don't
oh
want to
yeah,
be high or drunk when you're counting cards, right? Yeah. You
oh,
want
I
to
don't care. I
you
can
want
be
to be
high. I can't
sober,
be
don't
drunk.
you?
Me? No, I'm a nerd. Like I'm a human calculator.
I don't
None of this
even get
matters.
on the tables though. I've never when I go to the casinos, I don't even get on tables. Like I've never been on a I never played poker or blackjack or any of that stuff. I
And
don't
that's what
carry
I'm saying.
I don't carry
That's why
that
most
kind
of these.
of huh? I don't carry that
That's what I'm
kind of
trying to say. Is these casinos aren't made for me and you to make money. They're made for rich people.
Yeah, it's true. If you're rich, they'll come and get you. They'll fly a plane to come and get you. I mean,
Oh, they'll carry your money in for you even, right?
yeah,
They'll
they'll,
make sure your money gets inside. You don't even have to carry it, right?
yeah, they'll find you tickets to sporting events in different parts of
Oh,
the
you
country.
want some money today? You're up? Why don't we give you a hotel room? You can have some free food.
Yeah.
We'll even give you some free entertainment so that way you'll come back tomorrow and try to give us our money back.
What's your favorite casino in Vegas?
I don't have a favorite casino. I don't like do casinos like that. My favorite casino to stay at used to be Circus Circus because I love to go on the rides, right? I like being away from the main part of the strip, right?
Yeah.
But it is so run down. I went there 3 years ago, not for my 40th, but for my 39th. And it was so just horrible. Like they have, you got to pay to get a refrigerator. You got to pay an extra fee to get a microwave. Like, bitch, just give me a microwave. I'm all right. What do you, right?
Yeah. How long?
And it, go
Yeah.
ahead.
They charge you for everything. Like, I stayed in downtown at the Binions Apache and I
Oh, God.
asked to check in like maybe an hour early, right? They charged me $100 just to check in an hour early. They
Hey, it
t-
wasn't even $100 for the nightly rental rate, was
no, they took my whole
it?
deposit. I thought it was because I was smoking weed, but then I stayed there again. I didn't. I checked in at the right time. I smoked all the weed I wanted, made a mess, and they gave me all my money back. It was because I checked in early and stuff. And yeah, people want refrigerators or, but yeah, I went to the buffet at Circus Circus. Biggest piece of shit. I will never go to the buffet. Circus Circus looks so depressing. You know, I don't know what. I think they're just waiting for somebody to tear the fucker down. I don't know. You know, and it's sad. You know, like it's sad, but it's like, yeah, there's all these. There's a new casino right by it, the Fontainebleau, but even the downtown casinos look hella nicer than this place. But I don't know. I don't even know who owns the. Is it one of the big companies that owns Circus Circus, or they just don't give a fuck? You know.
I have no idea. I'm not a Vegas person like
It
that.
was.
I lived in Vegas.
How long did you live in Vegas?
I lived in Vegas for 4 months. I played a whole season of arena football in Vegas. I've never told you that.
Oh yeah, yeah. How was playing arena football in Vegas?
So I played semi-pro arena football, which is meaning some guys got paid to play, some guys paid to play, and some guys just got to pay. Everybody was somewhere in between, right? I didn't pay to play, and I didn't get paid, but I had somebody paying for me to play, so I was in between. And my first game, I didn't play a fucking play, but one or two, right? And so we were on defense at one point, and we were missing an inside linebacker. So I just hopped the fence, went in. They ran a play. I deflected the pass. We got the interception. And the next week, the coach was pissed and talking shit. So week 2 comes and I didn't play again. And we were supposed to have a third game because we had a triple header. The teams from Utah came down. So the shittiest team from Utah played us and we beat the shit out of them. And then the second game was our two middle teams. And then the third game was supposed to be their best team versus our best team. And they didn't show up.
So you played
And
3 games in one day?
Oh, it gets better. We had a ragtag team and nobody wanted to play quarterback. And I looked at my coach and was like, you know what? Since you don't want to let me throw the fucking ball, not only am I going to play, but I'm going to play quarterback. Now, this is a great fucking story. First play of the game, it's arena, right? So it's only 55-yard field. We have a shitty return, so we got the ball in the 6, catch the ball, hand it off, lose a yard or 2. Second down, catch the ball, hand it off, lose a yard or 2. So now we're in the end zone. He can't just catch the ball and have me hand it off. So I drop back. I see the blitz. I see the pressure. Dude's coming from the outside. I step up. I rush forward. I break to the outside. I see this little Samoan fucker coming to hit me. So I know he's going to try to light me up. So I hit him with the spin move. When he hits me, I almost break the tackle. I tear off my whole elbow. I look over like a fucking movie, and it's 4th and 1. And I get my breath, and we walk back to the sidelines, and my elbow's bleeding. But everybody on the team now goes, oh, he's for real. He wants to play it. I'm like, yeah. We lost 42-24. I threw 4 touchdowns. I had a fucking blast. The crowd was in it. The crowd was hyped. Because, only losing by 18 in arena football is not losing that bad. 18 points can be scored in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? And then on top of it, you've got like 7 or 6 different jerseys playing against the defending champs, and we weren't even supposed to score. Now, the worst part about this story is that's when I got my, you ever had an inflamed testicle?
No.
So I told you the first series of the game, I stepped up and beat the pressure and rolled out. So I'd been rolling out all game, throwing deep balls. So we get to like the 4th quarter and we were in it, right? Like I told you, at this point it was 30-24. I remember I was like, hey, we got this. I'm in the huddle. It's hype. It's fucking, it's like a fucking movie. You can hear the crowd. We're having a good time. I'm having a good time. I'm taking off my helmet. In it. I look at the guys go, hey, we got this. We drop back and I see the same shit happening. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go right. I'm going to step up. And when I stepped up, dude spun and fucking hit me. And I just woke up and looked around. I was like, what the fuck? Hit me, right? So I'm in adrenaline. The next day I wake up, I'm pissing red Kool-Aid. My balls hurt. I had to walk to the hospital because I lived off of Rainier and Rainbow and Tropicana. I walked to the Green Valley Hospital, and I was in full tears by the time I got there. I'm fucking bawling because every step hurts. So they send me for what do you call it? When you get an ultrasound of my nuts.
Oh yeah, the ultrasound. Yeah,
Because they knew something was wrong.
the MRI, or was it an MRI?
No, ultrasound. You do an MRI for knee joints.
Oh yeah.
So they're like, cover the beans in the Frank, and I'm telling them it's cold in here, right? And she goes, have you been hit in your right testicle? I was like, what do you mean? She's like, well, your right testicle is the size of a hard ball. Your left testicle is the size of a golf ball. So think about that. Our testicles are usually this size.
Yeah.
My testicle was like that. And they were like, yeah. When you got knocked out the other day, that's probably why you passed out. And I was like, oh, all right. So that was the one time. And for all the guys out there, if you ever want to know what childbirth is like, they say an inflamed testicle is as close as a man can get to feeling like he had a child.
So what did they do to your testicle? Do they do something? Do they inject you or?
Nope. You don't get injected. You don't get anything. All you do is rest, relaxation.
Oh yeah. But were you wearing a cup or?
No, I never play with a cup. That's probably the
Oh,
problem.
yeah, I
I've
used to play
never.
Little League Baseball, and I used to catch. I don't even know how the hell I was catching out there, but I remember they told me to, you know, my parents are foreigners. I didn't know what a cup was. And suddenly this guy, my coach is like, you got to get a cup. And I hate it wearing, I don't think I ever wore the cup. It was just too much, you know, I don't know.
I played catcher growing up as well, and I never wore cup either. There was
Yeah.
one game I had to catch a knuckleballer, and it bounced and hit me in the balls, and I remember I had a stitches bruise because the stitches hit you. I had
Yeah.
stitches markings on my balls. You can see where the ball had hit me. I was like, this isn't cool. This isn't cool at all. But all right, I'm not. I couldn't wear a cup either. I didn't like how it felt.
Yeah,
It
I
didn't
didn't like
feel.
cups. Yeah. So how's your comedy going? You got a lot of show. I see you got a lot of podcasts going and stuff.
So I'm a producer. I'm a comedian. I'm a little bit of everything. I wrote a book, even a book slash movie that I need to write a sequel to. Um, how can I put this? I think
Yeah.
you know this, and a lot of people know this. When you get into entertainment, especially if you're an entertainer, right?
Mhm.
Some people are just comedians, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't think Matt Rife is ever going to become an actor, right? Like if he's lucky, he might become an improv guy, but I don't see him acting.
Mhm.
He's a douchebag. You can tell. You don't have to act to do that character. There's enough of them out there. But you know what I mean? I don't see him
Yeah.
having any highs and lows. He is what he is, right? I'm not just a comedian. I work on representation, focusing on those with disabilities, those that are neurodivergent, even representing and doing shows like Social Security Influencers, which is a whole bunch of old people doing all woman lineups. I am more than just me, right? And I think like even right now, my shirt says Suit Man, right?
Yeah.
Um, and more people know me as the suit man and don't even know I do comedy sometimes. They're like, I just thought you were a host and the podcast guy and you didn't know I did. Like, there's so much more to me than just my comedy. And I'm thriving in a whole bunch of other ways. I finally got a small write up in our local paper called the Seattle Medium.
Mhm.
They did a two page, 3 page um, expose on about how I work on representation and did Def Comedy Jam and do the podcast and do all the things. I also just went to a local theater in Centralia, Washington, where I performed, and I was like, I got all these shows I could do. And he was like, no way. So a part of like getting to that point where you're like full blown successful is doing the work,
Yeah.
right? And I think right now I'm more focused on doing the work and getting my brand out there and finding my niches than so much trying to always be funny and have a ton of shows. That being said, though, I always have 3 to 4 shows a month and 2 to 3 mics I'm on.
This is
So,
disability month, so do you have a are you doing the disability month or how's that going?
well, every month I do dating with disabilities and I do autistic month artists. Next month I've got one of the comics that was in Eureka was so enamored with me and happy with what I did that they asked me to headline their 3 shows when they come up here.
Oh yeah.
So that's the you know what I mean? Like if I came down to San Francisco and you saw me perform and then you were doing shows up here, like, hey, can you headline my shows? That is the biggest compliment I can get,
Oh
right?
yeah.
They're coming back to do shows in Bellingham and northern Seattle where they live at, and they want me to headline in front of all their friends because they think their friends are gonna like me. That's
That's
awesome.
great.
So I've got 3 of those shows. Then I've got a show that's got 2 shows in one night actually. This weekend, this Saturday, I'm in Roslyn with 2 shows in one night, so that's kind of huge. And then what else? I got my show in 2 weeks. Um, the open mic list should be coming out, so I should be on a couple open mics at the Tacoma Comedy Club, hopefully. And then I've got my 2 podcasts and my show, so that's 5 book shows or 6 book shows guaranteed. One of which is my production. 2 podcasts and 2 or 3 open mics that are scheduled. What else do you need? That's like 12 performances.
So you run open mics or?
I don't run them. We have to sign up to be on the club open mics out here. So
Oh, I thought you were
you're
running a.
pre-scheduled. I had one last summer. I had one, and then the place got sold. So
Ooh.
it's just open mics are dead.
Yeah, they are, aren't they? I don't even like doing them because they're hella depressing and stuff. And now they're like pre-booked. And actually, I did an open mic out the Wise Guys in Vegas. They gave everybody 3 minutes, but everybody did really well, and it kind of bothered me, like it kind of bothered me that this everybody did really well at this open mic. Like it kind of bothered me because usually you got people who do well, other people do okay.
But usually, open mic is a lot of cringing moments. And
Yeah.
so, as a intermediate or okay comic, you start to go, "Oh, okay, this is a confidence builder. I like going to this show because I'm not going to be the shittiest in the room, and I'm not going to be the best, but I'll fall somewhere in between."
I'm glad you brought that up. So I'm no longer a new comedian, right? At
Right.
6 years, because I hit 6 years here in a couple weeks, right? Actually, next week. Um, I'm no longer like a shitty comedian, right? And I don't think I've ever really been a shitty comedian because I'd never. And this is what let's talk about this. What is a shitty comedian? This is what I define as a shitty comedian. You are a fucking hack. Now, if your jokes aren't funny and you're writing them themselves, you're not a shitty comedian. You're just new.
Yeah.
If your jokes are weird and you weird people out, that's fine too. Guess what? We all have our own audience. You got to figure out how to stop talking about your dead cat, right? Right? But if you want to talk about your dick or talk about how you date fat women or how you're on Tinder or all, that's hack. You want to talk about people being retarded or use the N word when you're not one. You want to say nigga and you're not a nigga, you're a hack. You want to talk about Latinos and be like Trump on the microphone, guess what? Again, you're a hack. I don't give a shit about your political beliefs. I'm talking about if all you want to do is get on the fucking mic and belittle other people to be funny, you're a hack. Now, if you're not doing any of those things, I'm pretty sure most comedians, Paul and Chris, will agree. We don't mind you. We know
Yeah.
it's hard, right?
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, Friday I performed at Cal's in North Beach, and I had these two blondes asked to take a picture with me afterwards. And one of them thought I said no and got upset. And they were like upset. And I was like, I never said no. I said, let's take this picture. They were mad. I'm like, I didn't say no. I just got off stage, But it was hard. It was hard to hear because they were talking. It was loud. And they claimed that they were in a bachelorette party. And one of the comedians asked them, like, how did the guy propose? And she's like, actually, I proposed. I got on my hands and knees and sucked his dick off, But they weren't in a bachelorette party. But
here's that. Let me answer that, and I'll give you the answer to that.
Yeah.
Respond, not answer, respond. So I did a show. You know Mike Maslotti?
No, who's that? Is that?
He's a pretty good comedian. I got his book right here. I just featured for him. Check it out.
Oh, Comedy for
I don't-
Dummies.
Oh, wait, hold on. Show me again. Sorry. There you go.
Comedy for Dummies. It's by Mike Maslotti. He actually lived in Seattle. He talks about a ton of comedians and that I actually know. Some of them I like, some of them I don't. Who cares? But I've read 55 pages. I've only had it for a couple of weeks. I just got it from him. I opened for him. Whatever. But the reason why I brought him up is I opened for him, and we got done, and we're in bumfuck fucking Seattle. We're in Rockport. Now, if you don't know where Rockport is, you probably shouldn't. But you should have heard of Oslo, the place where we had that rock slide and everybody died.
Right.
That's 5 minutes from there. Now, there's two things I want to talk about. The first one is we talked to the owner about how some hack comedians thought it would be always think it's cool to go up there and make Oslo jokes about the slide. And I'm like, yeah, if you're not there, maybe those dark jokes are funny, but you can't go to a city of 59 people and make jokes about the people that die in the town over. Because guess what? They know them.
Yeah. They probably
Right,
are relatives or friends or something like that, and basically
Right.
you basically just stayed the night at someone's house and shit the bed.
Yeah, literally. A lot of these guys just thought it was okay. That's the first thing we had to talk about, right? And then the second one we talked about was me and Mike. We talked about just being real people, right? And what people expect from comedy shows. And so I went up there, and you might know who Simon Kaufman is. He's another guy who's lived out here and travels around. But Simon Kaufman ran the show the first time, and a guy named Dees Castillas out of Texas books it now, and he didn't book a host, right? No. For all you comedians out there, you need a host, and a host should never do more than about 8 to 10 minutes of comedy to open a show. The reason why I say that is because I've done hundreds of shows as a host, and guess what? After 8 to 10 minutes, they go, okay, you're funny. Fuck, where's the real comedian?
Yeah.
Anyways, but if you don't have a host, you got to set some rules, or at least you should. And so whenever I start my comedy show, I say, oh, we always got 3 things. First thing is, this is the talking stick, so if you don't have it, shut the fuck up.
Right.
Now that ruffled some feathers because we're in a small town and they like to heckle. Now, mind you, I'd been there before and done well, so I knew what we were getting into. So I did that on purpose. Second one is please try to keep your talk to minimum. This is a small fucking room. So, hey, my apartment's bigger than this. We can't all be talking. If 2 or 3 of you talking, can't hear the show. People want to hear the show. Then last but not least, tip your bartenders, whatever. They said, are we ready for some comedy? And then half the people said, who? A lot of them were just like, fuck you, motherfucker.
That's funny.
So I did my part. I did my shows. I get into saying nigga like within my 3rd or 4th joke, which offends some of them even more because they can't say it with me, right?
Or even worse, at you.
Yeah, right. They definitely wanted to call me one after that introduction. But Mike went up and he didn't get nobody was heckling all night. Nobody said anything. And we talked about it afterwards, and the owner was like, you're kind of harsh. And he was like, yeah, but Mike enjoyed it. He didn't have to get heckled. And the other lady in the back was, yeah, I was able to hear the whole show because you shut the fuckers up front and all these different things. Well, comedy has been so interactive because of the Matt Rives, because of the Nate Jacksons, because of all these guys. Shit, his new special is called Crowd Work. What the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, there's one regular, Kells. He's a friend of ours, but he started heckling a comedian, and then he started telling him about how he had prostate cancer, had 4 inches of his dick taken off, and I'm like, dude, you want to heckle somebody, but man, do you really need to in the middle of a show? I mean, this guy was a beginner, and he's like, I had cancer, goddammit. And I'm like, nah, man. That ain't, that's crazy. I mean, if you want to get on stage and talk about your cancer, go for it. But you can't bring down a whole audience, like depress them and shit, And he's like there every week and stuff. And he always asks for a free drink ticket for a beer. And then one day I posted something about Reggie Jackson on my Facebook, the baseball player. And he started talking shit about Reggie. And I was like, there goes your free drink ticket, fool. He called Reggie cheap. He said Reggie owes money to all these car like garages in the Bay Area. I'm like, you're so cheap. You come in here demanding a free drink ticket. And then you start heckling the comedians and shit, Years ago, I was at an open mic that was like it was like a club bar. And they had a memorial for a police officer before the open mic. And the family was there. And they did the open mic. And it was awkward, It was awkward. It was like, why not just cancel the open mic, dude? Just do them. And the son was there. I think the son got mad at one of the jokes. Yeah, just weird stuff. Open mics are just weird stuff, you know?
Well, not like that, but I think it's not the same. When I so when you talked about it earlier, there's three types of people that go to open mics, right? And I really think there are. I think the first category is people who don't do comedy who are new. Let me expand it. I'm gonna say five types. There's people who've never done comedy before and want to try it, right? We know those, right? You get one or two of those every night. Then there's the people who should be doing comedy and are new, and the people who are gonna burn out who are new, right? And then I think there's the me's, and then there's the special people.
Special people.
The special people are the motherfuckers that are writing new jokes all the time, getting funnier every time you see them. They've got new material. They're fucking Patrice O'Neill. They find ways to be funny every time you see them, and you're not hearing any repeat jokes. Those people are fucking special, right?
Right.
And then
Absolutely.
there's the me's that are funny, and they've got a certain amount of material they're able to regurgitate, use. A lot of it, a lot of people know because they've been patterned into using whatever. But I can take out parts of material that I've never said before, and people are, oh my God, that's a new set. No, it's not. You've just never seen me do long form comedy. So you always get my initial 6 to 10 minutes of jokes
Yeah.
because that's what my 6 to 10 minutes is, right?
Yeah.
And that doesn't change because when you do a paid show, you know you want to hit certain marks that, and those are the jokes you use, right?
Oh yeah.
So right now I think the problem is a lot of people, there's not a lot of me's and special peoples going, right?
Nah.
The special people are blowing up so fast because of the internet that they're getting shows and moving, right?
Yeah.
So most of the people at mics are the first three. Newbies, people who are new and not that great yet, or people who are new and should be quitting soon. And it is so frustrating to go see these people who are really hack comics or punching down be the popular guys at a mic and be the
Yeah.
guys influencing a mic because they've been doing it for 2 or 3 years, but you're like, you're not any fucking good yet.
No.
Like all these people are looking up to you and following you and wanting to see how you're funny and pick your brain. And then when somebody who shows up's funny shows up, they get an attitude and they disappear because they're not authentic and genuine. And I think that's the problem with comedy right now is there's not a lot of authentic and genuine comedians. A lot of people are being hacks and trying to find a way to be funny just to get a laugh instead of really finding their voice and finding out who they are.
Yeah, I get a lot of people not liking the fact that sometimes I just think of something and try it. Like somebody told me that there was like there was like bull semen and Red Bull, right? I was
There is,
drinking a
yeah.
Red, and the guy's like, there's like, and then at first I was upset. I'm like, and then I'm thinking, is it homophobic to be upset that there's bull semen and Red Bull? And then I was thinking, I can taste the fucking semen, right? Well, there's no bull semen in Red Bull. It was, but I did 5 minutes on it, and my friend who produced the show, he was pissed at me. He was pissed.
It's because the motto for Red Bull is Red Bull gives you wings, not Red Bull gives you chlamydia.
Yeah,
And so
that was part of my joke. I'm like, do they do SED tests on the bulls? If it was cow semen, would I be upset? Is it the fact that it feels homophobic? Am I being homophobic by being upset with that?
no, I think the
You
worst thing
know?
is that you were probably upset not because you think maybe it was bull semen. It's that this tastes so good.
Yeah,
Why am I still drinking it after they told me it's bull semen?
yeah.
I can get you a job out here in Seattle if you don't mind the taste of bull semen.
Well, the week before, some woman in the audience talked about how her pet was a bearded dragon, right? I thought she was talking about some pussy, right? Bearded
I knew you
dragon.
were gonna go there.
So,
You're retarded.
so I got on stage and I killed it. I'm like, bearded dragon. Then I started talking about bearded dragon must be regional pussy, right? Regional pussy. But I didn't want to say what region it was because I don't want to come off as racist. But it's a
Obviously,
fucking
dragons are Asian. You know what I mean? If we're talking about pit bulls, we
yeah,
know we'd be talking about black people. Let's just say it. If we're talking about Chihuahua pussy, that's
yeah.
Mexican pussy, right? Like, come on.
And after I killed it, my friend, the same friend that heckled the next week about the cancer, he's upset with me. He's like, "Why you say that? Now that woman left, and I was gonna fuck her." And I'm like, "You can't get your dick hard. How you gonna fuck her? You had prostate cancer, and the woman's right next to you, stupid. She hasn't left. You're just being a dick about it. If you want to talk to her, you weren't gonna fuck her." And it turns out I was wrong. There is a bearded dragon. It has nothing to do with pussy.
I was hoping you were gonna say he did fuck her and like he showed you.
No, he was like, "Who are you? Why are you fucking doing that? I was gonna fuck her." And I'm like, "Dude, she's right here. She didn't
I gotta
leave."
remember this. Hear me out on this. Hear me out. There's so many shitty producers out there, right? Like I'm autistic. I'm Asperger's. I'm not good at dating. I'm not good at social things. So yes, do I find a lot of the women attractive? Yes. Do I hit on them? No. And I'll give you a prime example. I did Def Comedy Jam. She goes by Miss Music, but I didn't know that, so I put her name out there. As Frederica Moore came out here, some comics say he's gonna do this, he's gonna do that, and she was kept trying to like saying flirty stuff, and I was like, I gotta stop. And Ash Newland was backstage, another comic, and she was like, "What was he gotta stop?" He's like, "Cause you're flirting. He's trying not to flirt with you, and you keep flirting with him. Which you're now you may not mean it, but if he responds, it could be taken as flirting, and
Yeah.
so I don't respond, right?" Not only that, I've never like did quid quo pro. I did date one girl who I was booking, but I was dating her. That's not why I was booking her, and she started dating me. You know what I mean? Like it was whatever. But there's all these things and creeps and weirdos, and when you're not a creep or weirdo, it seems weird when people act like a creep or weirdo. And it even seems weirder when people are trying to protect them from you, protect themselves from you being a creep or weirdo. Because you're like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
I don't. That's the hard part. There's a lot of creeps and weirdos out there.
Oh yeah,
Don't let
especially out here.
anybody
Yeah.
ever influence how you're performing, how you're acting. I've seen the same guys. This one was it's funny. There's a comic out there that cheated on his girlfriend and slept with a little baby comic, and now everybody's mad at the little baby comic. What?
Yeah.
What?
That's how they do it. They always go after the woman. It's like, the man's in the relationship, Like what happened between Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake. Justin Timberlake's like she cheated on me. She cheated on me. Justin Timberlake cheated on her with like 30 women and stuff. But then he went on TV. He's like she cheated on me. Wrote the song about her that she was terrible. It's like she claims she kissed one guy, you know? But yeah, everybody like nothing happened to Justin. Everybody went after Brittany, like, oh, how you're a home wrecker. But yeah, it's like that. They always like put fault on the wrong person and stuff.
And then we've had other comedians. So my favorite was we had a comedian punch a guy on stage.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
let me hear that story.
So here's the best story about this. So there's this little Kermit the Frog producer we got out here, a piece of shit. He's just caused so much trouble. And he was booking this roast battle.
Oh yeah,
And so I got booked to battle this guy named Raja. And Raja is not a comedian. Raja is an entertainer. Now, what do I mean by that? Raja made a song back and forth, a weird little gimmicky song. He does a joke box. He puts jokes out, like puts a box like a mailbox out and gives out jokes and takes jokes and he'll read them on stage. Like he's not a comic.
yeah.
He's an entertainer. Now they were gonna have me try to roast this guy, and I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna hurt his feelings." Right? And I don't roast people if I don't like know them. Like if I know you, I'll roast you because I'm gonna talk shit. I'm gonna say some shit that is horrible. But you've got to be my friend for me to say the shit that's horrible,
Yeah, I get that.
right? Like if you're my friend, I'm gonna talk shit about how you're in a wheelchair. Now, if that's gonna offend some people, and you might even get mad at me if you don't know me. But if you know me, then you should understand. Oh, this was coming.
Yeah.
Right? So, however it works out, I'm at the Northwest Black Comedy Festival. Raj is down there. He's like, "Hey, I want to talk to you, man." He pulls up on me. He's like, "Hey, man, I really don't want to do this roast battle." I was like, "Okay." He's like, "Well, do you want to do it?" I was like, "If you don't want to do it, I don't want to do it because I don't want to tell him I'm about to kill you." So it's like, yeah, that's fine. I don't mind. I don't want to, right? Like, no ego here. I don't need to talk about how, oh, yeah, I was definitely going to kick your ass. No, that's fine. I really didn't feel comfortable picking on you either. Then if I tell you I'm picking on you, then I'm kind of saying I'm better than you. So I don't want to say any of these things, right? So then the other roast battle was a black guy versus a white guy, and the white guy usually hangs out with the black guy, but he had locally just said the N word on stage and kind of got in
Uh,
trouble for it. And it wasn't in a bad way, I don't think, because he's not one of those comics. He just, you know what I mean? So then the next battle was a younger black comedian versus an older black, two women, right? Who supposedly had beef. And then the last battle was supposed to be this white boy who does nothing but hack edge lord comedy versus a black guy who does nothing but I hate white people comedy. So I told you I had already decided not to be on the show. But oh, I went to the show anyways because I knew something was gonna happen.
yeah.
I know something was gonna happen. Somebody was gonna fight. I knew something. I could tell. Like I said, all this, all these different beefs and different types of people, something's gonna happen. So we get there. The white guy's going to do it with the black guy. It's fine. Nothing happens. Right. Next, the two women didn't show up, so that didn't happen. Right. So next, they had somebody else fill in. Two corny white guys. That wasn't good. Now there's a weird energy in the room. You notice how I said the first one was friendly, the second one was corny?
Yeah.
I said there's a white guy who hates the black guy, and the black guy hates white people. Not only that, but all 15 of these Tacoma crony comics that don't like the black guy who's a comic from Seattle, they're there too. Do you know why? Because they had got together and done a workshop of roastings that they were going to give Shelby to roast fucking Chris Harrison.
Oh yeah.
Strike one. So you're telling me a whole bunch of non-black people got together to write roast jokes about a black guy. Guess what they were all about?
They
Him
were,
being black,
they were all
right?
racist jokes. Yeah.
So he gets up there and in the introductions, he's like, I'm about to knock this motherfucker out. And everybody laughed, and I heard what he said. He said he was about to knock this motherfucker out.
Yeah.
They didn't hear him. And he tells him, you better not be on that racist shit, or I'm going to fuck you up.
Yeah.
Round one. Chris has a couple jokes that are all right, but he's mostly pissed off because Shelby's got racist zinger one, racist zinger. Like, it's surprising, you know, not only is Chris from Chicago, but he was also in the army and a black guy. So it's surprising he's lived past 25. Right? That's not funny. Like, that's not funny.
Oh, he said that.
Yeah.
I thought that was
No.
your joke. I didn't.
No.
I didn't realize he actually said that. Oh. Oh yeah. That's. Oh, that's bad.
Now you're getting my.
Yeah. I mean, why would anybody say anything like that? Oh.
Because that's how racists act in Seattle, right?
Yeah.
So he says another joke, like I don't remember any of it, but I remember that one quite well because it was just like, really? Okay. So he does round one, goes kind of even, but Shelby obviously wins. Round two, Shelby crushes him. It's racist joke, racist joke. Then on top of it, there's 8 or 9 of them that wrote all these jokes together. So he's just got a list full of racist shit he's reading off.
Yeah.
Shelby's obviously won because the crowd's there to see Shelby embarrass Chris as well.
Yeah.
Now,
But
listen, I'm
are
autistic,
are
right?
you supposed to like read jokes at a roast battle, or I thought you were supposed to memorize them? You're just reading stuff off, you know?
Like I wrote some jokes about because I did a joke. It was roast battle on Ying, and I was like, I talked about everybody thinks she's funny. I said no, everybody thinks she's gonna do her nails, and
Yeah.
she's like, oh, and everybody was like, damn. And she told me she was like, I thought that was fucked up. Here I thought you were nice, and you over roast me so fucking bad. That's how you roast people. You
I,
don't just do Chinese. You're a chink. You're a chink. You're a chink. You make it funny, right? Like you take it somewhere else. You don't just say, yeah, he's black. So for whatever reason, after round two, now this is the other part. The whole crowd is just cheering for Shelby. They're not even hearing Chris's jokes. They're just there to hear their own jokes and see how they're getting their
but
punches
this
in,
is a
right?
white dude named Shelby. I mean, what kind of. I mean, how can you not have a joke about a white dude named Shelby?
But you got to understand, it's all about environment. That's what I'm
Yeah.
getting at. I'm autistic, but I can see how this is not a good environment.
Yeah.
Every comic there was hoping Chris was going to lose. Almost every comic there had helped Chris try to lose. The room's 80, 90% comics. So this was really a roast battle where these white guys showed up to embarrass Chris.
Yeah.
So for whatever reason, I told you after round two, this motherfucker was done. Armani decides to go for a round three. Let's do one more round. And I'm like, why? So again, it's racist joke, racist joke, racist joke. Chris ain't even doing jokes. He's like, I'm gonna fuck you up. You're a bitch. That's why you a bitch ass fucking white boy. That's his bros. I don't need to write a joke. I'll beat your ass. How about that? Ha ha ha. And I'm just like, y'all ain't hearing this black man is emotional. I can hear the pain in what he's saying. Y'all really just trying to like you're basically embarrassing this nigga, and that's how I say it and mean it because that's what you guys were doing.
Yeah.
And sure as shit, he pauses the show and tries to announce the winner. As he announces Shelby, Chris turns and just pow and punches him in the fucking face. Now here's the worst part. So he gets punched in the face, whatever. All the white guys go help Shelby. The one white guy wanted to get in the middle and be like, yeah, you see how Chris didn't want to fight me, huh? No, Chris didn't want to start a riot.
Yeah.
And if Chris would have started fighting you and you would have started fighting Chris, guess what would have happened? I'd have beat your ass.
Yeah.
Because that fight didn't have nothing to do with you. Whether or not he stole on him or not, if y'all would have started jumping on Chris, I wasn't going to let that black man get jumped. Just so y'all know, I wasn't going to let that black man get jumped. And if anybody in the Seattle comedy scene want to see this and know, just so y'all know too, that black man wouldn't go get jumped.
So
Because, yeah,
is Seattle like a racist place, or?
they don't know it, but yeah, it is. It's one of those places where it's not racist. You're overqualified.
Yeah, because I drove from the Bay Area to Seattle one time, and I was like I stayed at the in Oregon where they do the Shakespeare Festival, and it looked like I was in the 1950s, you know. And there's like a lot of places in Oregon and Washington that it's got like these old white people that have never have never left. They're like stuck in a time warp or something.
Well, that's the thing is Oregon. So Oregon actively had laws where black people couldn't buy land.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, yeah.
Damn.
Seattle had zoning areas about not selling land to black people. Magnolia, all kinds. Kirkland, Redmond. Yeah. So that's the thing is until you get to Tacoma, if you took Tacoma and Seattle, that two metro because they're basically the same city, but
Hmm.
if you took out that Tacoma metropolis, Seattle metropolis, there'd be like no black people here, and the
Yeah.
black people that are here are because of the naval stations, Fort Lewis, um, Fort Brett, Bremerton's got Bangor, right? We got the naval base Bangor, we got Big Fort Lewis and McCord Air Force Base because we're a major, military installation.
Yeah.
We're the most northwest tip of what is it? The landlocked United States,
Hmm.
right? So we are a major military point, and so there's a lot of racism. There's a lot of the other part is there's a lot of people here. So you've got a lot of Asians, a lot of Africans, a lot of Polynesians. Like we have more diversity here than you do in San Francisco.
Oh hell yeah! I mean, it is San Francisco. I mean,
So you've got a lot of people who just don't Asian people don't like black people, right?
nah.
Africans don't like black people.
Yeah, they
There's a
don't.
shitty
Yeah, they don't
there's
get
a shitty
along. Yeah.
there's a shitty comic around going around. He's a decent comic, but just a shitty person. Burunji. He's in Portland now. He was living in San Diego for a while,
Hmm.
but he's African, and all he does is his Uncle Tom act about how he married a white woman for a green card. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
That's not black culture. That's you're not black. You're
Yeah.
fucking African.
Where I live, there's not many black people where I live, and there used to be a lot more. The Warriors used to live near us. Steph Curry used to live maybe 5 miles from me. And when they moved from Oakland to San Francisco, they all moved out. The A's used to, a bunch of the A's used to live near us. Like all these rich athletes, the Raiders, like all these athletic teams left the Bay Area and our population went down, you know? It kind of sucks.
Yes and no. I mean, that's just how Seattle is. So it's different when you look on the outside in, and there's only 8 or 9 real comics out here, but you're only booking 2 of them,
Yeah. What
right?
about what about the Seattle comedy competition?
That shit's a joke. There's nobody from Seattle in it usually. It's mostly people from other states that come in to steal the money and win the prize.
Yeah, even
That
here it's I think the guy who runs it is the same one. The San Francisco comedy competition. It's the same guy, John Fox.
Yep.
Yeah, John Fox and stuff. Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess Taylor's in charge of it now, but yeah, John Fox is the one who's yeah.
And like now it's like yeah, they don't even take it seriously anymore, you know. It's like
So my story on that 2 years ago when Taylor first tried out, I went in, I crushed my set. Like I crushed. I'm not gonna I crushed. I had 15 people hanging out with me to hear my closing joke because
mhm.
he left the light on. So he left the light on, so I didn't know when I was at the end of my set, right? Because I wasn't running
Yeah.
a timer anyways. I was just wing it. I can wing 6 minutes, you know what I mean? And so when I thought the timer was on, I didn't do my closing joke and got off stage. And he's like, "Oh, you had another minute and a half, right?" I crushed my set, crushed. So I told the people my closing joke, and that crushed with them even more. And the fucker was like, "Yeah, you're an alternative. I'll hit you up next year. You won't even as long as you for an audition." I didn't even get an audition, and I didn't get brought back. How'd you go from alternative to not even getting a chance?
Yeah.
I'm the if fuck it, I'm not. I don't need to be humbled. I'm the best 5 year and under comics. I'm just at 6 year. I'll say it. I'm the best 6 year and under comic in Seattle that's black.
Huh. Six
You want to
years.
go on a you want to go on a stage with me and do 30 to 45 minutes.
Uh-huh.
Just do your whole material, not a competition, not 5 or 10. I want you to go headline a show with me for 30 to 45 minutes and have the audience tell you who's fucking better.
Oh
And I
yeah.
guarantee you it'll be fucking me.
Yeah.
Not just a black audience, not just a white audience. Go get a mixed crowd of people who don't know who either one of us are. There ain't nobody funnier than me at 6 years under. I can say that. Fuck
Oh yeah.
you.
Do you
I
know?
can say that for a lot of markets I walk into. I've been all over. Most 6 years and unders can't hold my fucking hand, right? So, with that being said, when you look around and you don't see the diversity in bookings, you don't see people actively trying to book you. You see a guy who sucks headlining a big club this weekend.
Huh.
We had a local guy who hosted the same club every week. He got to headline 5 shows this weekend.
Oh really? How did he do?
I don't see any pictures of his shows posted by the club. How about we say that?
Do you know Stroy Moyd or do you know
Who?
Stroy Moyd?
Nope.
Do you know Hella Funny or Hella funny.
Hella.
Hella funny and Stroy Moyd is a black comedian out here. He just opened up a comedy club nearby, actually. He's like the first black owned comedy club in San Francisco. It's called
Oh
The
shit!
Function. Yeah, it's called The Function. It's brand new, like at least in a less than a month old and stuff.
I need to come down.
Yeah, you should
That's
come
what.
down.
But that's the thing, and again, I say all this with a grain of salt and a little bit of anger, but also a little bit of motivation. That's what comedy's fucking about. You're supposed to plateau,
Yeah.
right? You're supposed to reach a limit where you're like, I need to do something new. I need to get on the road. I need to try these jokes. I need to. I'm there. You know,
Mhm.
a couple years ago when I did my first 32 years ago, fuck, 2.5 years ago,
Mhm.
fuck, I miss that bitch sometimes. 2.5 years ago when I went on my first tour in 2020, the end of 21, right? Yeah,
Mhm.
the end of 21. I think that's when I met some of you guys, and so you saw me go through the open mics, and you saw me down, or because I went through everywhere that year, right? But
Uh-huh.
I went down there and I headlined Vikings Motor Club with Jimmy and Jacob,
Oh
right?
yeah, the Viking. Yeah, they're still doing that show. Yeah.
Yeah, I headlined there and
Yeah.
did well. They
Yeah.
told me I was the best. Now think about that. I went to a motorcycle club and did well.
Yeah.
You can't tell me shit. That's the hardest audience to have because they don't laugh. I
Yeah,
don't
they
care how
don't.
funny you are, they're not gonna laugh. But if they buy you drinks afterwards, you were good. I
Yeah.
was hammered, right? So since then, I've got so comfortable with my 30 to 45 that I could do 30 to 45 and get off stage and forget jokes. 45 is my limit, about 35 to 40. So
Mhm.
I'll get off stage and be, I forgot this, I forgot that. Well, that's just because I need to tighten up and do it more often,
Yeah.
right? So that's a different plateau versus being, yeah, I don't need to go to open mic. I don't need to write 5 minutes at a time anymore,
Yeah.
right? If I'm gonna be booked somewhere, maybe I do a new 15. I need to write a new 15. That's not open mic.
No.
You don't do that at open mic. You just go out and do a new 15 like you talked about at your buddy's show. I'm gonna do this 5 minutes. I'm gonna do this 5 minutes to warm them up that I already got. I'm gonna do 5 minutes of new shit. If it goes well, maybe I do some more new shit or I dive back into my old shit. We'll see what happens. People don't get that. There's levels to this. And for me, that's where I'm at. I need to get on the road. I need to get my car fixed. I need to plan 3 weekends in a row where I'm taking Fridays off and leaving at the crack of dawn and doing a show Friday, doing a show Saturday, and driving home Sunday.
Yeah,
Those
go go up to
that's where I'm at.
Montana and Utah and Idaho and yeah, the whole
Yeah.
what is that called? The Trimble Run or
The Tribbles. The Tribble.
the Tribbles, yeah.
Yeah, that hey, that see the young guys have never even heard about that term, right?
Yeah, the
Like I heard
Tribble
about
Run,
it.
yeah.
I heard about it because I hung out with some old guys in my comedy scene when I started. But the Treble runs where you'd go, you head east on 90 from Washington, you get to Wyoming, you head south through Dakota, and then you head west through Vegas to LA, and then back up the I-5 corridor, right?
Yeah. I didn't even know that Utah was so close to Vegas. It's like I'm an idiot. I didn't know. Like it's like a couple hours away and stuff. And the Mormons are involved in the gambling industry. Like I had no clue the Mormons were like way up on the gambling industry.
Right, and like Dave Tribble, booking the Tribble run.
But
It's
that's
just people can do that now.
yeah,
And I think that's what the Tribble run died because it's no bigger than what social media does for us now.
yeah.
I could reach out to you guys. You guys would probably get me on a couple shows, at least making 50 to $100 a piece. If I reach out to my network and I'm saying I'm going to Sacramento and commit to being in Sacramento or in California in August, I guarantee you I could book the shows to get paid and cover my expenses.
Oh yeah.
Now, am I going to make enough money to be like balling? Definitely
Don't get an
not. Am I going
electric car though. Don't get
what'd you
an
say?
don't get an electric car if you expect to go around and stuff.
But
Are you gonna get
you know what
another
I mean?
car? Or?
I don't know. We'll see. I'm still. We're being positive right now. You piece of
I
shit.
got a
Just one.
question. My mom's out of the country. She went to Chile. Her brother is celebrating his 80th birthday, right? And my mom's 78, and she switched planes in Panama, right? And her plane was late, so she missed her connection. And I kind of felt guilty. I'm like, should I let my 78-year-old mom travel alone at this stage? I mean, you're switching planes in Panama. I felt like I was a bad son not to be there with my mom.
No, you're never a bad son for. You're. I can put that. You're an adult, right? My
Yeah.
mom's the my mom's dead. I wish she was here.
But
Um,
78, shouldn't I like travel with her? Like, isn't that the
if she
age?
wants you to.
I don't think she wanted me. Like, I don't think she asked me if I wanted to go, and I think part of the reason I said no, I was down there in October, and I learned the hard way about my Chilean family. Like, they don't give a fuck about you if they see you a lot. I mean, if they see you every year, they're not inviting you to their house. They just don't care about you. If you go once every 4 years, everybody wants to see you. Everybody. So I was like, I don't know. I don't know. Because, I got an older brother and he wasn't going. But yeah, when my mom said she was stuck in Panama, I felt bad about it. Like, I'm like, sh and I'm thinking next time I should just tell my mom, get a direct flight. Don't be switching planes in Panama.
What I would say is you got to let your mom be your mom, and I want you to hear me on this. My grandpa's 94, and he's finally at that point where like he's not there anymore, right?
Yeah.
He's finally really, and he finally kind of knows it, right? But
Hmm.
he's fighting knowing it and fighting, you know what I mean, accepting it until you have to.
Yeah.
And so let your mom be an independent for as long as she can.
Yeah. Okay. I felt guilty about it. I'm like, what if something happens to her in Panama? My mom knows Spanish, because we're Chilean, but it was like, why can't you switch planes in Peru or somewhere nice? Why are you gonna choose
That's
this?
why is it that, and then again, you've never been to these places. Why I think it's a bad thing? That's
Oh,
part of the adventure,
I've been
right?
actually, I
That's
have been in
part.
Panama.
I know you've been there, but you're not hearing me. That's part of the adventure.
Yeah, but it's different when you're a man. You're like,
You're projecting a whole lot.
well, yeah,
If your
because
mom didn't, and I
I
tell you
felt,
this is, I'm a.
and the weird thing is, I didn't feel guilty until I was smoking a lot of weed. That's when the guilt kicked in. You're sitting there smoking a lot of weed and you start feeling guilty about shit. Like, oh my God. Yeah. I'm
If
on my
my
10th.
mom dies this weekend, man, am I the bad person, man?
Yeah.
If I never talked to my mom again, man, I could have just caught a flight and helped her. Oh fuck yeah, I get that. But
Yeah.
I want you to hear me when I say that.
Hell
Part of
yeah.
what was the first thing? Listen to me when I say this, Chris. What was one of the first things we talked about? Me
Uh,
getting stranded with my car, right?
oh yeah, your car. Yeah.
And my attitude on that adjustment. That's what your mom's going through right now. Think about it that way. This is your mom's car breaking down. You never know that she's not taking pictures of the poor people in the rundown airport and feeling some sort of humility or feeling some sort of thankfulness and appreciation for her own situation. You don't know if she's meeting somebody and hearing their story and affecting them or who's affecting her.
That's
You have
true.
no idea of how good or bad this adventure is going.
I don't know. Yeah, one time when I went to Chile, I flew an airline and they stopped in like six different airports. And there actually was a Costa Rican Airlines, and they didn't have like the direct, they didn't have the like the rights to fly from Costa Rica, no, from San Francisco to Chile. So they would do is they flew us into Costa Rica, took us out to lunch for 5 hours, put us on another plane. But yeah, I landed in Panama and steam entered the plane when it landed. It was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen and stuff. Yeah.
No, a plane's a whole lot colder and the humidity difference. So the minute you
Yeah.
open the door, yeah, I could see that happening.
I got a story like when yeah, when I was living in LA, this was in the 90s. My friend and I we went to a party up in Malibu like a it was outdoor party and everybody was driving one way and somehow we thought they were going the wrong way. So we took off the other way and her car got stuck. It was raining. It got stuck in the mud and we decided, fuck it, we were gonna come back and get it a couple days later, right? So I didn't have a car, right? I didn't know what to do. I didn't have AAA, so I went home and I kind of hid out for a couple days, not answering the phone. I went to my friend's place and hid out, so I didn't have to help her get the car out, and she was pissed. She was pissed. I was like, she was pissed. It was bad, but I feel guilty about it. But yeah, I'm like, we're stupid people. Everybody's driving one way. We're like, they're going the wrong way. Let's go the other way, right? So yeah, we ended up stuck in the mud in Malibu, and I think it was like private property, so AAA wouldn't come out there. It was, and then her friend came out with a truck and pushed the car out. But yeah, I like hid out for a couple days, so I didn't have to deal with it. I'm a bad friend and stuff.
It sounds like it. I'm not gonna lie. I might
I
have to.
know.
No.
Yeah, this happened in the '90s. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't know why. Like, yeah, we were. It was some kind of weird outdoor party in Malibu. It was weird, but
I need to move to. It's funny you say that because it's my ex girlfriend was in California. My friends are. It's we don't. California has different stories. You guys have rich people. You have room for adventure. Like you
yeah,
guys just get into shit that we don't get
yeah,
into in other places. You know what I mean? Like having a pool party or going to a mansion is not a big deal, even when you're poor in fucking California, right?
no. You know, San Francisco's only 7 miles long. I mean, the whole city's only 7 miles long. It seems a lot bigger and stuff, you know. You got hills everywhere. I mean, walking San Francisco is crazy. Like, you get lost in San Francisco, you're walking hills all over the place. But yeah, I mean, it's totally different and stuff. But that's the thing about California. You got LA, you got areas like Fresno that are all Republicans, Bakersfield. My dad lives in San Diego and stuff. My stepmom, who's Mexican, was telling me that she sees people wearing MAGA hats in San Diego.
Oh yeah, that was the so what is that? Marin County or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, I remember. So I when my mom passed away, I went down there, right? And when I was down there, it's not Marin County that I'm thinking of. It's so I went down to San Diego. We drove into Tijuana. I went to Tijuana. That's a whole different
Oh
story.
yeah,
But
Tijuana. Yeah.
I had a whole bunch of people that I worked for this company called Ricardo Beverly Hills Luggage, right? And I had a whole bunch of customers and that repaired bags like in La Jolla and Pacific Beach and Mission Valley and all these places, right? Coronado and all these in the San Diego area. So I went and hung out with this motherfucker because he was just like this rich white dude. I did not expect him to look like what he looked like.
Mhm.
I didn't know how rich it was down there, right?
Oh hell yeah.
Because we are in Encinitas. That's where it was. Encinitas, I want to say, right? And it's fucking like rich up there.
Oh yeah.
And I was
Encinitas
looking at
is
my buddy.
yeah.
I was like, if you live 20 miles south and you were born in Tijuana, as a kid, your life is totally different than if you were born just 20 miles north.
Yeah. Yeah. Tijuana is a different world. You know, like It's completely
Oh
crazy.
God.
Yeah. I mean, it
It
was
I w-
fun. Tijuana is fun. Actually, the first time I went to Tijuana, I was like 19 because the drinking age in Mexico is 18. So a bunch of us, we went up there and just got drunk and shit, you know?
yeah, I don't. I'm good. I when I went to Tijuana, it was So I went in. We walked across the street, right? Um, we walked across the street. We walked across the border, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, we walked for a couple miles, and then my buddy was like, we can't just be walking around downtown Tijuana, dude. We need to get on a car. We need to get somewhere." So
Yeah.
then we caught a ride to the Arches. We get to the Arches. Oh God, this fucking! I'm looking at it on the Google Maps. It's exactly like what I remember. So when you get to the Tijuana Arch, right? There's
Mm-hmm.
a diagonal alleyway where there's a ton of restaurants. So we walked down there, and it was like a scene out of the movie. There's music playing, everybody's dancing, eating, drinking, whatever. We get to the corner of, and I'm looking at it on the map so I could say it exactly because this was the weirdest, like, this is the craziest shit I've ever been through. It was Salud, Digna, and some other street, and it was the only actual stoplight I saw. Traffic never stopped.
Nah. Yeah, that's
There
one.
was
Yeah.
so much traffic. Do you get what
Yeah.
I mean? When the people walking on the street, it looks like a commercial because it's so packed. Once the lights go, people are walking. Once the lights stop, cars are going. And I was standing on the side smoking a cigarette, and it was like, oh my fucking god. Now, mind you, we weren't talking because you're not allowed to talk. You don't have time. I don't want them to know I'm not Hispanic because they all think I'm Hispanic.
Yeah.
Only problem was is I had short hair at this time, and
Oh.
then I was wearing a sleeveless T-shirt, so
Oh.
I had all my tattoos out.
Oh.
Right? I got names on me. I got letters on me. That's usually gang affiliation in Mexico.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Right? So it's funny. I can look at this map and tell you exactly where we went. So I walked down to like Digna. It's called Beta. See Benitez Juarez, right? There's a park. Yep, there's the park that we went to, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is fucking creepy that I can look at it like this. So I walked down to the park, Park Tiente Guerrero. Now, in between there, we had went into a shopping mall. The shopping mall was like a storage unit place. That's how big the stores were. That was the
Yeah.
craziest shit to me. All they sold was like not even real commodities. They sold like cell phone cases, nail shops, right? Like nothing real. Do you get what I mean? No real
Yeah.
merchandise. Everywhere was playing Despacito by fucking Justin Bieber at the time. I remember I heard Despacito everywhere I fucking went. It was the most horrible thing in the world. Then on top of it, when we got to this park I'm telling you about, everybody just looked glazed over. Like it's different when you go to a park, and I'm looking at this park, and it's eerie for me to look at it now because I remember walking through here, and it's not a happy feeling walking around Mexican parks. People aren't like loud and happy; they're just
No.
taking up space.
No. I mean, yeah. You know, back when in the '90s, you could enter Mexico with a driver's license. You know. Now they don't even check when you come in, but when you came back, you could re-enter America with a driver's license, but they don't even check passports when you enter Mexico.
Well,
Like,
that's what I was gonna say. Is getting in. Let me finish. So we
yeah.
walked down to this park. Now, mind you, when we walked down this park, I'm looking at the distance on it. So we walked down about 4 blocks, 4 or 5 or 6 blocks, right? We
Mhm.
stopped at the little, the little casino. We walked through the casino. We walked through their mall, right? All these different things. And so we walk through the park to the other side and start walking back. This is where shit gets creepy. So
Mhm.
on the walk back, I'm looking and I notice that I catch eyes with somebody who I had just seen on the other side of town.
Yeah.
Then we walk up on this business and they're getting shut down. with M16s and shit because Mexican police carry assault rifles. They don't carry
Yeah,
handguns.
they have to. I mean,
I didn't. I've never been around this though. You say all that, right?
Well, my stepmom's Mexican, so yeah, she's got family in Monterey. So yeah, I've heard horror stories about Mexico. Like they wouldn't let the kids out to play because there's so much violence out there and stuff. Yeah,
That's what I mean. So I'm just something's not right.
yeah.
So then we see this white girl, and I try to talk to her, and she literally starts running. I'm like, why is she running? She's like, she can be abducted, dude. We look Mexican because my buddy was Native American.
Yeah.
So we both look. We're both light brown. So she don't know any better, right?
No.
So then we get back to the main strip, and this guy starts talking to me about women. I'm like, nah, I'm good. He's like, I got young ones. He's nah, I'm good. He's like, yeah, 8, 9, 10. And I turned and grabbed him, picked him up, and slammed him against the wall. So what the fuck did you say to me, bro? Because we don't talk about pedophilia out here, right?
Oh yeah.
Pedophilia is not okay in America.
No.
In
Hell no.
Mexico, that's a business,
That's
right?
crazy. Hey, we got a couple of minutes left.
Sorry.
Tell me
We went left, we went right. We talked about a whole bunch of crazy shit this time.
So what plugs you got? Anything you want to plug or?
Man, I'm not really. Yes, autistic artists. We talk to people who are neurodivergent. We should probably have Chris. We should have you on our podcast. Also, dating with disabilities. Basically, we talk to people who are disabled and do comedy and date and talk to them about what's going on, how they handle
Oh
it.
yeah.
That way, we can get people to understand what your disabilities are
Maybe-
instead of having ignorance.
Maybe we
about
can
them.
actually have my wife on your show, and then she can actually tell you what it's like to be married to a disabled.
She has another
That too.
husband, or
Yeah, she has another husband.
she has
No,
another.
I'm the disabled.
She has a wife, or
You know
is she
what?
married to a woman too?
I don't know.
But,
As long as she can
honestly,
work the
we'd
camera.
probably. I'd love to have both of you guys on.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
That'd probably be the better answer because the ableists aren't going to like the idea of having somebody non-disabled talking about dating you. That's just not cool.
Well, I'm on SSI. I had special ed for years. I'm like, a woman,
I don't know. I knew Ed. He wasn't that special.
Yeah, I knew a woman who wrote 5 books on Asperger's, and she swore I had Asperger's. But I'm like 52 years old. Back when I was a kid, the doctors weren't like saying if you're autistic, You were either
No.
like you were in special ed,
You were taking portable classes half the day, like I was, right? You were
Yeah,
getting bused.
Actually,
to a
I started
supplemental.
a mental disabled class. I don't want to call them retards. I know that's wrong, but I was in a class. In a couple weeks, they moved me on to the special ed because I was learning English. I came to America. I didn't even know English, so. But yeah, I was in special ed throughout my whole life, and I tried to get out of it, and they kept bringing me back in and stuff. It was sad.
Well, by the way, what do you like with your Asperger's? Do you like fries or onion rings?
I like some ass. I like ass. I'm an ass.
you like
man.
you like Asperger's with a side of
Yeah.
ass.
Like
Okay.
one woman was talking about,
Wait,
like,
hold on. That
Paul
that-
broke me. I had
like
never
some
heard
ass.
that shitty ass fucking joke before. But I was just
I
like,
know.
ass.
let him
I'm
have
sorry.
it.
That's
I'll
all
let
we
him
got
have
here
it.
in San Francisco is low-bearing fruits. I mean, fruit.
hey, I'm a Taurus. I can't.
That's how he got here. He's definitely Mexican. Somebody had to pick the fruit.
I'm a Taurus. I can't be vegan because I like eating cows and stuff.
Eating
my
cows.
biggest thing right now is I'm trying to. I got a book. I need to write a second book. I probably should publish it. The big news is though, all my podcasts are on all the majors. They're on the what do you call it? It's the Apple, the iHeart, the Spotify. You can find me anywhere. And so trying to get my views up and my listens up. We have over 60 episodes of edited material. We're on the Portland radio as well every month. every
Did
weekend.
you
I
hear
should say every Friday.
our governor's got a podcast with Beast Mode, Marshawn Lynch. The governor of
Oh yeah.
California has a podcast with Marshawn Lynch. Is it all right for politicians to have podcasts too? Or?
I like it. I like seeing more people actually being genuine.
Hell yeah! Why
I like
Marshawn?
seeing more people. Go ahead.
Yeah, why Marshawn Lynch? I was like, why are you gonna have Beast Mode? Well, you're from Seattle, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, I got Kells this Friday again. I hope there's a bunch of hot chicks that want pictures with me and stuff. It was
Oh,
kind of weird. I felt weird about it, you know. My friend was married and he was excited. It's always sad seeing married comedians, you know, excited about hot female audience members. Like, you're married, dude. Like, you know, stop thinking about them, you know. You gotta send them my way. I'm the single one, you know.
hey, save some of that puss for the rest of us. You've already got one. Why?
Hell yeah. You already got a wife, you know. Hell
Pass
yeah.
that to the left, like your best doobie. But not look me up, Suitman Comedy, SUIT, Suitman. It's on the shirt.
We need a
I've been having them
t-shirt. When are you gonna send us some
Yeah, I'm
t-shirt?
looking for one. I'll even hang one up in the studio.
Yeah, we need
On the
one.
That's
wall
very
of
white of
shame.
you. You're gonna hang a Suitman, you son of a bitch. You're getting canceled, Paul.
We have a
You
wall
can't
of
stay hang with a black guy on the show. It just doesn't sound.
well, you're like Latinos, so
I'm not. You
you
son of a bitch.
you could
Just
pass for
because you're
like three different races. You pass for in the summertime when it gets hot. You're probably like you're a different race. In the winter, you could be something else.
you can go to hell.
You know, people think I'm white. You know, and I tell them I'm Chilean, but you know, I got European in me, so I
I'm not
could
gonna
be.
lie. I did not. I thought you were white.
Of
I
course,
definitely.
you know, yeah, you know, and it like bothers me when people think I'm white because I'm like, I mean, my first language was Spanish, but hey, hey, thanks for being on. Yeah, you gotta come down and stuff, you know. You know,
We'll
forget your
figure it
ex
out.
girlfriend. Where is your ex girlfriend? Do you want me to like go talk to her? Maybe you two can get back together.
Nope. Don't go do that.
Is your ex girlfriend like she lives in the city, right? So
She lives in what is it? Alameda.
Alameda, you don't even have to come near Alameda and stuff, you know?
No,
Alameda's an
sorry,
island and
not
stuff.
Alameda. Cupertino, where Apple's at. She's in
Oh,
Cupertino.
I grew up near Cupertino. Yeah, I could have told you that wasn't gonna work out, you know. You should have asked me Cupertino. I'm like, yeah, you don't want to fuck with the Cupertino people. The
Yeah,
Cupertino
well,
women, they're all about techie money. She's banging some rich techie right now. I don't want to
yes,
make you feel bad, but there's some
she
rich
is.
techie dork who's banging her, you know, doing drugs with her. I'm sorry, I should just cut it out. Thank you for being on. See you
Hey,
later.
thanks a lot,
Let-
Dante.
Message me, Paul. We'll get you on the podcast later, dudes.
You got it.
See
You
you
guys have a
later.
good one.